everybody out there in Flosstube world. This is Vicki, aka the Virginia Stitcher, coming to you with my Flosstube video number 35. I always forget the number. I always have to look at my notes. One of these days I'm going to get it. So this is my January wrap up. So today is February 1st of 2023. It's a Wednesday. I had just got done filming my tour of my craft room. And that one is in the process of processing and uploading, so that hopefully you guys will be seeing that shortly, or right about the same time this video goes up, because I'm going to try to get this one uploaded tonight also. I'm hoping this lighting is working. It seems to be very bright in here. My husband switched my craft room lights, my overhead light, to daylight lights. So when I turn that all the way on, it's on a dimmer switch. When I switch it all the way up, it's bright in here. It's dark outside. It's getting dark. It's already 5:30. So I'm not getting any outside light. This is just coming from the light in the room. So, and it seems to be very, very bright. In fact, I look really pale. It's washing me out. So I'm hoping that the thing that matters the most is that my cross stitching, you guys can actually see the projects, see the floss colors, see the fabric colors. That's the important thing. That's what I want my lighting to come across and show the best. So my plans and goals for this year are no plans and goals. No real concrete plans or goals. That's my plan. That's the plan, is a no plan, if it makes sense. I want to have a sweewee year. Stitch what I want when I want. And actually, I've been doing that the last couple of weeks, and I've been having a lot of fun. I have a lot of projects. This is my project. This is my whip wall behind me. There's even things in these bins. And so if you watch my craft room tour, you will see me. I will go through what's kind of going on. Not go through every bag. That'll be a whip parade. But go through kind of how I've had these organized here on my wall in my bins. So, and that's just my DVD player and some fake books. These are fake. So I have 8 whips to show you, works in progress that I've been working on the last couple of weeks. So we'll go ahead and get into it. My other video, the tour of my craft room, took like over an hour for me to film. It starts out with showing you guys. I thought I would go around and show you each and every aspect as I went around the room and into the closet. I have a small walk-in closet in here. But then I thought, no, there are people that just want it, that are only interested in how I'm storing and organizing my craft supplies. I mean, my cross-stitch supplies. They wouldn't be so much interested in my diamond painting, my art supplies, things like that. So I skipped areas and I went around and I just showed the areas of interest to you floss tubers. But then I've had people also comment on my channel when I've mentioned that I also have other crafts, wanted to see what my other crafts are. So at the end, I show you what else is in my craft room besides cross stitch stuff. So if you want to check that out, that should be uploaded by the time this one gets uploaded, because it's uploading now as I'm videoing this one. I'm hoping it's uploading. That's what I'm hoping on. So let me get into the whips. The first whip I have to show you was my New Year, New Start. And that one is A Savior's Praise by Shakespeare's Peddler. Let's hope this doesn't glare too badly. And it looks like this. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that border. That's a Teresa Vignette kitten stitcher. She's the one that does the designings for Shakespeare's Peddler. That's her design company. And look at how it's unique. It's not just the same thing all the way around. That's what drew me into this one, is one of the points that did. So I'm loving how this one's got a unique border on it. So I am stitching this one on a piece of 32 count taupe, I think it is. Did I keep the, oh yeah, I did. Yes, 32 count Lugana in the color taupe. And I am stitching this with all the called for, look in here real quick, DMCs, I believe. Yeah, these are all DMCs. The called for DMC threads. I am stitching 2 threads over 2 over 2 on this. And this is how far I am. So I just came in and I picked it up one more time since I last showed this to you guys. I think I did like this little bit down in here. I think this purple, the little butterfly, I did a little over to this side. I think I put in a couple of alphabets. Not a lot. I just, in this acorn up here, I just worked on it one more day. So that's a Savior's Praise so far. See that border? Look at that. That is fun. I am having a lot of fun with that border. I really am. So there's a lot more to go on this one. Not going to be done with this one anytime soon. But this is one I would like to try to plug away on here and there and, you know, keep working on and not let it sit for months at a time and not get any love. But that is my whip number 1. The second one is, I think I only got a little bit more since the last time I spoke to you guys on this one. This is Kringles by Little House Needleworks. And it looks like this. And I have the first window done, part of the roof done, and I was laying some bricks when I last showed this to you guys. So this one is stitched on a 16 count piece of Aida. You can tell that that's Aida, with the called for DMCs. Like, my DMCs are never pretty, but they work. So, I think this is 16 count Aida in the color, I'm not sure what color this is. I want to say this is, I don't know if this is dirty or what this is, but this is how far I am on this one. So when I last showed it to you, I came and I did all these bricks right here. I think I just filled in the bricks. But this is where I am on this one. And I'm loving it. This is another long-term project. This one is not going to get done anytime soon. But it's fun. I'm enjoying it. And one of these days, it'll be hanging up for Christmas. Now, somebody said, you know, that they thought I was stitching my roof in the wrong color. Let me see if I can get closer. But what I was doing is this is filled in over here. This is this color, the lighter color. It just doesn't look like it because until you add the darker color in, it kind of changes the look of it. But that actually is the lighter color there. And I just need to fill in the darker parts to get that part of the roof done. And I still didn't put, you know, little bit of the details in the characters there. I think there's some gold metallic thread that needs to be put in there and stuff like that. I'm just going to wait and do all of that at the end on this one. So I'm using 2 threads over 1 on 16 count Aida on this one. Get it all back in its bag. The next one is Lantern Lane by Little House Needleworks. So another Little House Needleworks. It looks like this. And I am stitching this one on a piece of 16 count lamb's wool Aida. Pretty sure it's lamb's wool. This one I have written down. Yes, lamb's wool. Started this one on December of 2020. So it's still not done. And this is where I am on this one. This one I'm stitching 2 over 1. I'm trying to get better at telling you guys. I usually stitch with 2 threads. Almost always. So this is 2 over 1 on 16 count Aida in the color lamb's wool. And I'm using a mixture of, I'm using mostly colors I picked myself. Because I started this in December of 2020 and I couldn't get a hold of some of the, there was still a supply issue going on with threads. So this here is 2 different DMC colors mixed together. Because it was supposed to be done with pea pod, which is this color up here. But you see how I don't really have variegation going on in the pea pod. So I wanted variegation going on in my tree because when you look at the pattern, you could see the variegation going on. And I loved that. And see the variegation in the house? I loved all of that. And that's what I wanted. So I picked 2 DMC colors. And I think they are 3051. Mama, shh. Have my little stitching buddy in here with me. She heard the UPS truck. They bark at it every time. 3051 and 3052 from DMC. Those are the 2 colors I picked to put together for the tree, to have a lighter and darker green colors. And then the house, I didn't have enough of the called for Lancaster Red by Weeks Dye Works. I only had 1 skein, or a part of a skein. And when I finished that house, with mixing together that color with DMC 355, so I'm mixing these 2 colors together for the house, I would have completely run out of halfway through the house. I would have run out of the Lancaster Red. So I mixed the 2 together, and I wanted it to look like slats. And so I did 2 rows across, stitching across with Lancaster Red, then 2 rows with the DMC, 2 rows with Lancaster Red, 2 rows with the DMC, and so on all the way down, so that I could get it kind of looking like slats. And then the roof color, somebody was asking me what I was using for the roof, and it is Cocoa by Weeks Dye Works. I think it's Weeks Dye Works. It is the called for color. Is this it? Yes, Cocoa by Weeks Dye Works. So this is how far I am on this one. So when I picked it up, what did I do on this? Oh, I didn't do very much. Picked it up one evening and I just worked for maybe an hour. And I think it just came in and I put this box in. That might have been it. Honestly, people. I didn't get too much on this one. So and then I still have to frog out this one because I did this one in 310 and this one in the called for 844, I believe it is, DMC color, which is a gray. And I want it black instead. So I need to go frog that one out and redo that one. Otherwise, this side is pretty much done except for the little berries that go here up in the holly. And I'm not going to put the holly. I think I'm going to end it here with the wall. And I'm not going to put the holly that's up here down at the bottom. I'll show you on the chart. I'm going to leave this off. I don't want to do that. I don't think that that's needed. I want it to end right here. So I still need to do this over here. Is all I have left to bring this holly across the top and do this a little bit. So I'm hoping to get this one finished this year, since I started it 2 years ago. So hopefully we'll get this one done. So that one is Lantern Lane by Little House Needleworks. Sorry if you can hear my dogs. Like I said, that the delivery guys, whenever they go up and down the street, sets my dogs off. They know that UPS truck or FedEx truck or whatever it is, and it drives them insane. This next one is 2021 Sal by Modern Folk Embroidery, Fruits of Plenty. And it looked like this. This is Jacob's mock-up. The colors I picked for mine are 2 DMC colors. And to give myself a little grace, I did not start this as a stitch along because it was a mystery and I didn't know what it was going to really look like. So I waited until, I think it was like July, I ordered it and started it. So July of 2021 is when I started this one. And I knew I wasn't going to be doing it as a stitch along. I fail at stitch alongs. I cannot, because I don't like to make myself stitch on certain things. I squirrel all over the place. What did I do with my... So my 2 DMC, well, let me go ahead and show it to you. This is on a piece of, I think it's Amazing Gray. 16 count Ada. And that's where I am. So you can see. Oh my goodness. 1.5 years. That's how far I got on this one. Oh my goodness. Vicky. So I hadn't touched it in a long time, so I got it out and I wanted to give some love to this. So I actually filled in all of this fill in all the way around. The heart, I filled it in. I had the dark, kind of the bones laid out, and then I was coming in and doing fill in. And then I started here, trying to fill in that. There's a bunch that needs to be filled in around here. There's a little bit here still, and here, to finish this block, the February section. Then silly me in my head the other night, I was stitching on this and I thought, you know what, I could have this, there's no reason why I couldn't have the February section done definitely by the end of February, because it's not even February, because this was like January 28th or something like that, when, you know, a couple days ago when I was working on this. And I thought, man, what if I could keep up on this and get this finished this year? Did I forget who I am? I mean, maybe. It'd be a stretch. I could. But, so this is where I am on the February section. And I am stitching this 2/1 on the 16 count Aida. And I am stitching this with colors 3808 and 597 DMCs. So my colors, let me take them out of their little baggies. Look like these. So 597 and 3808. These are the two colors I picked to stitch my, he came out with his newest stitch along for the year. Oh, I forgot what it's called. But it's beautiful. It looks like a clock to me. It's really pretty. And a bunch of people were asking me, are you stitching 2023? I said, I haven't even finished 2021. Why would I start on another one? You know, so, you know, I tell myself, I've got one of his on the go, and I shouldn't start another one until I can get one of them finished, you know, this one finished. So I have no business starting another one. Uh-oh, my bag's not shutting. Mess with that zipper later. So this is my Fruits of Plenty, the 2021. You can still purchase this on modernfolkembroidery.com on there. I think it's a .com. On Jacob's site. You can still order this if you want to stitch this one. And of course, I put in the 20, and at the very bottom is where it said 21, the middle of the bottom. And I will just stitch in 2031. I don't know. We'll see when I get that one done. I mean, hopefully quicker than 10 years, but I don't know. Looking at my progress. This next one is a new start. Hence why I do not finish big projects I started a couple of years ago. Oh, I got both babies down here visiting me. They're done barking at the delivery truck. This is Winter Is Past by Blackbird Designs. I just love the colors in this one. This one is not super, super large. So I might be able, I've got it already about a quarter of the way done in the week I was working on it. And I was stitching just in the other room in the evenings, a couple of hours in the evening, you know, a few nights. So I might be able to maybe, you know, put this on my radar to see if I can get this one finished this year. This one is stitched with all the called for Weeks Dye Works threads. All the called fors. And I am stitching this one on a piece of 28 count Lugana in the color Sand Dollar by Be Stitch Me. I was in the Be Stitch Me Fabric of the Month Club for, I don't know, a little over a year, about a year and a half. That's how far I am. Look at that. I love these colors on this piece of fabric. Love, love, love it. They are coming out so pretty on this fabric. So, and I'm stitching 2/2 on this 28 count. And look at that nice mottling. The light is really working because this is true to color. This really is true to color so far. So that is my progress on Winter Is Past, and that was a new start. I just started it about a week ago. So I just felt like I wanted to get started on this one and get stitching away on it. So I did. The next piece is a restart. This one is by Little House Needleworks. Oh man, this must have been a Little House Needleworks week for me, because this is the third one. And I really don't have a whole lot of their patterns, but this one is called Hillside Travelers. It looks like this. I was watching, her Flosstube channel is Stitching in the Bluegrass, but she's Mouse Potato Designs. No, she's not Mouse Potato. Stitching in the Bluegrass. She's Spunky Jen on Instagram. She was showing her piece on this, and I thought, you know, I have that piece. I love that piece, but I quit stitching on it because I wasn't loving the fabric I picked, because I didn't like the color that I picked. So I'm using a mix of the called for, I believe, and some of my own picks. Yep. Went into my stash and picked a bunch of different things. So there's my chicken scratch on how I'm going about stitching this one, what colors I picked. And this one, initially I was stitching it on piece of 16 count Ada in the color Amber, which is a brownish color, a light brown. And this is what I had. And let me fold it in half because it looks like I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling the color. This should look light and springy, and it was just kind of drabbing it down. This color. This color works great for some things, but not this. Not to me, not in my opinion. So I switched up, and I'm now stitching it on 32 count cream Lugana. So I just went with a plain cream Lugana by Zweigart. And this is where I am. That looks like something is on there, but that's 3 stitches for the little guy. There's a little man standing next to the little lady. That there were 3 ecru stitches for his collar. So while I had the ecru on my needle, I just went over and I put those 3 stitches in. So it looks weird. It always looks like there's something on my fabric. Out of the corner of my eye, I keep seeing it. So let me put them kind of side by side. So cream or amber. Oop. Can you see? I can't see what you guys see. So I was having much more fun on this fabric here. And so I'm going to continue on with this color. I just think it looks lighter and airier. Because I originally started this back on January of 2021. So now I restarted in January of 2023, 2 years later. 2 years later, I just wasn't feeling picking this up and stitching on it. And now I'm enjoying stitching on it, on this color. So, just personal preference. And that's where I am on Hillside Travelers. I'm stitching 2 over 2. Like I said, with a mix of colors. Some of the called for, and some I picked myself out of my stash. I've joined a group. They have a Facebook group. I joined a group. It's Alicia Fanciful Flamingo and Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher. They do a Stitch Your Stash, and it's 2023. I joined their group. I stitch from my stash usually anyway, but I thought it'd be fun to join the group and just kind of keep myself maybe trying to do that, not usually buying things like a whole kit of stuff, but using what I have. Because when you see my craft room tour, you'll see that I have plenty of floss, plenty of fabric, and plenty of charts, like plenty of things going on. I've got a bin of kitted projects over there. So, or at least partially kitted. So a lot of times maybe I just need a few flosses, or I can even buy a chart and kit it from what I have. So that's just something I'm doing. They are not a no-buy group. They're just stitched from your stash. It doesn't mean everything has to be from your stash. It doesn't mean you can't. You want to come see? Come here. This is my other baby. This is Maya. She's the older girl. Yeah, the older baby. She's 10. She's my older baby. She's the older sister of the one you saw the other day. Molly's sitting right there, because now they're done telling the delivery guy to stay away. Where was I going? It isn't a completely no-buy thing. It's a stitch from your stash. So it's just try to use what you have. You could buy a new chart, but maybe you have the fabric already for it. Or you could kit it up with the threads you already have, which is what I do a lot of times. Like with the Hillside Travelers, I just went into my thread stash and I picked a bunch of threads that I wanted to stitch it with. Things like that. It's not a no-buy. It doesn't say you can't purchase anything. There's a different group. It's a Stitch from Stash group, I think it's called. They're pretty much, they try to stay kind of a little bit more to a no-buy. This one is just Stitch Your Stash. This is a different one. This is, so just check out Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher or Leisha the Fanciful Flamingo to find out more information on the Stitch Your Stash, the SYS 2023. But it's just, you try to use stuff that you already have. Doesn't mean you can't buy some stuff and maybe, like market's going to come up in March. Maybe there's going to be some stuff, a new chart or two you want to pick up. But maybe you have a piece of fabric to kit it with. Or maybe you already have some threads you can use to kit it with. Things like that. So my next piece was going to be my New Year, New Start. And then I didn't have the piece of fabric. Or I thought I didn't. I had a piece of fabric picked out for it. And then it wasn't going to be big enough. Because when I got my project and I was trying to see where my starting point would be, I was like, wait a minute. My margins were going to be like maybe an inch on each side. And I am not going to spend all my time stitching. This is a Mirabilia piece. And then be playing fabric chicken on the edges and have a hard time, being able to frame it. Because I do want to have a little bit of edge, and I don't want to frame it right up to the frame, or part of her cloak going over the frame. So I'm was thinking I needed to get a different kind of fabric. So I put her aside and I started a Savior's Praise, the first thing I showed you. I started it for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, my New Year's New Start. And I thought, let me just look around for a piece of fabric. So I purchased a couple. And in the meantime, I was watching Heidi. She is the, oh man, I can't think of her Flosstube channel all of a sudden. Stitching Faye. Her Flosstube channel is Stitching Faye. Stitching F-A-E. Her name is Heidi. On Instagram, she is Callie_Heiko. But she finished Royal Holiday. This was going to be my New Year's New Start. She finished this just recently. Check it out. I think it's in not this most current video, but her one before it. And her little picture for the video is her holding up this finished piece. She stitched this on 32 count Lugana in the color Gingerbread by Picture This Plus, and it is gorgeous. I have a piece of that, so I'm stitching her from stash. I already had her, the beads, and the DMC. I thought I needed another piece of fabric, but I had the fabric actually. So I thought, hers is so gorgeous, I can do mine on the same fabric. In fact, I told her I was. I messaged her and I said, Heidi, I'm going to glean from you, and I'm going to do my lady because yours came out so beautiful. So here is where I am on her. Doesn't look like a queen yet. This is part of her dress and her cloak. So I did a middle start, and I started right in here. So this is this portion of her. And it's so weird. This highlighted part of her cloak is a pink. That's the first reddish color I put in, a cloak color. And I was like, man, that just looks pink. But I said, but I know, trust the process and it'll look okay. So it was this color right here. And look how pink that is. But this is where I am on Royal Holiday. And I'm still going to call her my Royal New Year, because it still is the new year. And hashtag Royal New Year start. And that's where I am on her. So much fun. I have the seasonal queens. My plan is, my thinking is to possibly, and I'm stitching her 2/2 with the called for DMCs on that 32 count Picture This Plus gingerbread Lugana. And I have Spring Queen, Summer Queen, and the Raven Queen, which she doesn't really look a lot like these ladies. She's standing. But I want to maybe start all those this year. I know, crazy, but they're sitting there and they're calling to me, and I just really, 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 really want to stitch them. The last piece that I have to show you was my birthday start last April. And this is Elizabeth Weston by Hands Across the Sea. She is a really large girl and beautiful. She is gorgeous. I am enjoying her so much. I am stitching her on a piece of stone gray Lugana, 32 count Lugana, with all of the called for, well, the DMC conversion that it came with. So I'm using the DMCs for her because I think it comes charted with DMC and Soie and MPI. So 2 different silks in the DMC, but I'm using the DMC conversion here. So, and I'm stitching her on a 32 count piece of Lugana in the color stone gray. And this is how far I am. There's nothing past here. So I just have to, these are magnetic, I call these magnetic bungee ties, cable wranglers, whatever. They usually wrangle, they're meant to wrangle like cables, like a bunch of wires and stuff. You can, they magnetize to each other. There's one on the front, one on the back. And then they hold all my fabric rolled up here so it's not laying in my lap when I'm stitching. But this is how far I am on her. So since the last time I showed her to you, let me put something behind her. I think I worked on, I did this whole section right here. I had the vine coming down, but I didn't have any of this stitched. So I sat there one day and I did that. But that was probably 5 hours of stitching right there. I am not a fast stitcher because I don't stitch in hand, as you can see. I do the poke and stab, but I do two-handed when I'm working on the larger pieces and I'm using my Lowery floor stand in my craft room. I can stitch two-handed and that helps speed up the process. Two-handed means I'm left-handed, so my left hand's on the top and my right hand's underneath my fabric, and I can push the needle back up, push it down, push it up, push it down. So that kind of helps to be a little faster. Isn't she pretty? Isn't she gorgeous? She is fabulous. So there is a whole lot more on this one to go. But I am enjoying the process on that one. And I think that is my last whip to show you guys. That's what I've been working on the last couple of weeks. The next thing that I wanted to do was talk a little bit about some comments that I get on my channel. And I thought I try to answer them. Sometimes I'm not so quick at answering comments because especially over the last couple of months, I've been so busy. And so I'm hoping now to get back and be better and maybe get videos up every couple of weeks or no longer than a month. But one of the questions that one one of the questions I get often is, do I stitch with 1 thread or 2 threads, or 1 over 2, over 1 or over 2? And like I said, when I was showing them to you, I was trying to remember and tell you, but I stitch, when I stitch on Aida, I'm stitching over 1, and I usually, my Aida size of choice is 16 count, because I use 2 threads and I feel like I get good coverage with 2 threads on 16 count. Where's one of my, oh, these are, I was going to show you. I feel like I get pretty good coverage on, like here's one. This is on Aida, and it's with 2 threads. And I can do the loop start method. So that's my coverage with 2 threads on 16 count. And I love it. It gives me perfect coverage. It's not bulky, but it's covered. Then another question that I get, and if I'm stitching on Lugana, I'm stitching 2 over 2. And I either stitch on, I either stitch on 28 count or 32 count Lugana, and I stitch with 2 threads, and it gives me good coverage. 32 counts equivalent to a 16 count. Like this is 32 count with 2 threads. So it gives me good coverage there again. Which one of these is on? There's one on 28 count, or I think. I don't know. Or 28 count, which still gives me decent coverage with 2 threads. I learned to stitch with 2 threads. It's what I'm used to. So I don't have a problem with 2 threads. I actually like it because I like to do the loop start when I'm stitching with DMC. When I'm stitching with overdyed, you have to you usually do 2 separate pieces of thread. So I can't do the loop start when I do that. But otherwise, with DMC, I do use the loop start. Then I get asked, how do you keep your stitches so neat? How do you stitch? How do you railroad? I have a lot of people ask me if I railroad. And railroading, if you don't understand and know what that term is, it's when you're stitching with your 2 threads, and when you come up through your fabric and you're going to go back down, you split your 2 threads. So you stick your needle between your 2 threads, and that's railroading. I don't usually do that. That would even take me longer. But what I do when I'm stitching, and I showed this on my basics of cross stitch video, which I filmed like a year ago. It was probably a few months after I started my Flosstube channel. So it's not really good. I was a real newbie. But I go over just the basics and some helpful tips. And one of my things that I do when I stitch, so that my threads hopefully do stay neat, my stitches stay neat, is I make sure that my thread isn't twisted when I'm stitching. So if you watch that video, you'll see, I don't think I had one with a piece of thread, but not. As I'm stitching, when you're stitching and you go down, you come back up, you go down, you come back up, you're kind of slightly twisting your thread usually. When you go down, you come up with your needle, and it's doing this kind of motion. So I'm always looking at my stitches as I'm stitching it. I'm watching them, you know, as I'm pulling it up and I'm pulling it back down, and I'm watching how it lays. And I'm kind of looking at my thread on my needle. If it looks like it's twisting up a little bit, I just kind of give it a little twist and untwist it, and then start, you know, stitch, untwist, stitch, untwist. Doesn't take that long. Like I said, I am not a really, really fast stitcher, but because I've been doing it for years, so it's just kind of a thing. I just watch it, and I make sure that my thread isn't twisting up. If you notice, if you never untwist it, your thread will twist up so much that it kind of loops all up on itself. You can also get more knots that way in your thread. I mean, I still get knots. I'm like, how are you knotting? Especially when I start the thread and it's already knotting. It's like, are you kidding me? So that's how I do my stitches. That's how I work with my thread. I'm always watching and making sure that it's not twisting. When it starts to look like it's starting to get ready to twist, I kind of just give it a little turn, my needle. And then I go back down. And when I'm turning it, I'm looking at the thread that's still connected to my piece and it's out of my needle, and I'll see that I've untwisted it, and then I'll start stitching again. Untwist it, stitch, untwist, stitch. It's not like I have to sit there and spend 2 minutes going, oh, let me untwist it, let me untwist it. No, it's like a second, and then I'm stitching a second, stitching a second. So it doesn't take that much time and effort, especially if you're constantly watching and making sure that they're laying flat, that your stitches are laying flat as you're stitching. You shouldn't have a problem with twisted threads, and it gives you better coverage because your threads are laying flat instead of all bunched up and skinnier by being twisted. I hope that makes sense. I've had a couple people ask me, did I finish my One Nation piece? And no, I did not. It is up here. Let me see if I can get it down. Ugh. I think I'm going to get some more project bags to come down with it. My One Nation piece by Bygone Stitches. I took a break from it when I was doing some fall and Christmas winter stitching, a seasonal stitching. But I plan to get back to this. And that is this piece right here. Nope, I'm not done. This was one that I was trying to make the goal of stitching a star and a state a week so that I could get this done in a year. But I have not done this in the last 2 or 3 months. I don't think I've touched it. So now I'm ready. I had a little break from it. I'm ready to go back to start stitching on it again. And I'm hoping to keep plugging away at this and see if I can get this done at least by the end of this year. But this is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. And this is stitched on, I'm trying to remember what I'm stitching this one on. Seraphim Fabrics Haunted. And I'm stitching with just, I picked like a red, an ecru, and a blue thread to stitch those with. So that's my One Nation, and no, it's not finished. What am I going to do with all my big projects when I finish them? I have so many people comment on my channel. You're stitching so many big projects. Are you going to frame those? What are you going to do with those when you finish those? If you watch my video on my craft room tour, I have wall space. A whole long wall here, a whole long wall here, walls in between the windows in front of me. I have enough wall space in here. If I wanted to do art gallery style walls, if you ever see Brenda the Sampler Stitcher, if you ever see her post things about her sampler walls and things like that, and Ginger Shoal on Instagram, her gorgeous sampler walls, that's hashtag goals for me. I'm telling you, ladies, that's hashtag goals. So I could probably fit, easily, even if them being big, I could probably easily fit 50 projects on the walls in this room. No kidding. Because some would be small or medium, and then some would be so probably at least that many. And then my hallway out here is where I want to put my patriotic pieces right outside my room. And then there's some of the ones that I'm stitching are just seasonal, so those aren't going to stay out all the time. The Halloween or the Christmas pieces, those aren't going to stay out year round. Those will be switched out with other things. So I have plenty of space to hang stuff. And then I've got walls in other rooms of the house. I know my husband won't want me to put holes in every wall in the house. He'll probably be like, what are you doing? If I go around and I hang 100 pictures in our living room, I don't think he'll go for that. But I can definitely get at least 50 things down here. Easy, if not 70. So, and even big, even the big stuff. So those, when you see all the blank wall space, that's what's going to happen with it. Now, if we ever have to move into something, a smaller home, this isn't a large house, but it's a good size house for 2 people. But I'm talking about like we get to be much older, and need to downsize and go to something smaller, like a little villa home or something, then, you know, I might have to see if people want my cross stitch, but in the meantime, they'll be hanging on my walls. So those are some of my comments that I get. So I just wanted to, she thinks she hears her daddy coming home, but he's not. It's not time for him to come home yet. She's wishing. And now the other one goes running out to go see. Haul. I wanted to show you just, and I don't have a lot of haul. I'm trying not to buy a whole bunch because, hello. If you could see, this still stretches to either side. I have plenty. What is it? The Sable Stitcher Stash Acquisition Beyond Life Expectancy. Ugh, I can't talk. Well, that's me. But I am in the Garon Stitchery's Cottage Garden of the Thread of the Month Club. And I just got these in the mail, actually, the other day. And these were the colors for this month. And I think this is January. I think I'm pretty sure. Because my guess would be February. It'd probably be reds again. Some red colors. This is, aren't those beautiful? Cottage Garden threads. From, they're a fabric dyer in Australia. Beautiful thread colors. So we got Storm, Birch Bark, Cloudy Day, Nib, and Hearth. These are some beautiful grays. I like to also have neutral colors to be able to, you know, put into my projects, and not all bright, colorful ones. So those are going to get used for sure. And then I was watching Teresa Little Stitcher on Flosstube, and she's working on her Magwayan for Bella Filipina, and she's been doing Stitch With Me's with that. And there were some Bella Filipinas. I have one that I'm working on, and that is Bellatrix. She's kind of the Halloween-y. I do it in the fall time and Halloween time for, she looks like a sorceress. Well, I picked up Lakapati. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Lakapati. And she is the, the protector of crops and farm animals. And look at her with like the wheat, the basket of wheat. Love her colors. So I picked her up along with her water lilies that she needs, sunflower seed and Java. And they're soft, silky water lilies. So she needed these two colors, a couple of Krynex, a couple of metallics. She also needed a handful of beads. I'm going to take them all out of here. Some of these are like the bugle beads. Yeah. Oh, well, they're in a bag, because they came bagged like this, and I just left them in the bag. But I have these colors, but I'm missing 3. So I just need 3 of her beads. And then I had just received, and I'm thinking this is what, this piece of fabric right here. This is Fabrics by Stephanie. It's the first time for me ordering from Fabrics by Stephanie. And this one is called Glastonbury Tour. And I got a fat half of this one on 28 count Lugana. Glastonbury Tour. If I'm saying that right. Look at this mossy, beautiful green color. What do you think? Oh, her golds and reds are gonna pop on this color. Love it. So that's making me, one of the things that makes me want to start things is when I have a beautiful piece of fabric and I have a chart that's going to look fabulous on it. I can't wait to see what the colors look like together. If you saw the tour of my craft room, here I go again talking about that one. I like art stuff. I like to paint, draw, color, you know, put colors to pages. I have coloring books, adult coloring books. I love to color and paint by number and draw and paint, and I have acrylics and chalks, and I just love the look of colors. It just interests me. So that's, I think, one of my things with starting new things is I just want to see what the colors look like together and watch the piece come to life. I just, so I got that piece of fabric. And then because no, you know, like no chart should travel alone. Well, neither should a piece of fabric. So I got 2 pieces from Fabrics by Stephanie, and this one is called Sky Blue, Blue Sky. And it looks like a blue sky. Look at this piece of blue fabric. Oh, look at that. You know something's pretty is going to go on this one. And I'm loving the light in this room. Makes me look washed out, but it's, I mean, this is what, I mean, it's showing my fabrics nicely. Oh, yeah. So, ooh, that is beautiful. So I got those 2 pieces of fabric. I got my threads from the Floss Club. I am a part of Fortnite Fabrics, but I haven't received my fabric yet from them. So I'm hoping I get it any day now, because I haven't seen it yet. So I'm looking forward to getting that. And I think, are you done barking? Is that Sissy barking upstairs? That is my haul. I think that's all I got over the last few weeks. So my next thing that I wanted to go over was my giveaway. In my Flosstube video number 34, I wanted to do a 6,000 subscriber giveaway. I do want to tell you, in the past week, I've been watching Flosstube, and evidently there is a hacker that has gotten out there to mess up the fun stuff for everybody. They went in and they tried to, I guess, comment to commenters on Flosstube videos and tell them they won something and to go to this link. Please don't do that. Please, please, please don't do that. So for my giveaway, and from now on, I am not going to comment on anybody's comment. You have to watch my next video. If you enter for a giveaway, you just need to watch. You need to be watching, and because hopefully you're a regular watcher of my channel to win. Anyway, Molly, leave my fabric alone. Stop. She's starting to lick my fabric, and no. Yeah, you can sniff that, but don't lick my fabric. So I will not comment. I will just announce it on the next video or whenever I tell you I am. So that I'm going to announce the winner of the giveaway. I did it earlier because I'm always afraid that my phone's not going to work right, because that happened on one video. I was trying to pull it up and pull a winner with the random comment picker on YouTube. And it wasn't working right. It wouldn't pull up a winner. And I was like, well, what's going on here? It kept locking up. And I don't want that to happen anymore. So I used the random comment picker earlier today, before I filmed this video. And I took a picture of the winner. Let me see if I got to go to my, oh my goodness. Here we go. So the winner of the $25 gift card to 123 Stitch is Cindy Weaver. Congratulations, Cindy. If you could email me at my email address, and my email address, I always try to list it below in the comments in my video, in the notes section. And you'll know mine's thevastitcher@gmail.com. So email me with your email address and let me know you're the winner. And I will get the $25 gift card emailed to you. So there again, it's the VA Stitcher at gmail.com. That's my email address. I don't give you guys another email address. I never ask you to go to a link or contact me in any other kind of way. You can do that if you, for some reason, can't get the email to me. The only other way that you could get me a message to get me your email address would be you could message me on Instagram. I'm _Virginia_Stitcher on Instagram. You can send me a message possibly there if there's a way you can do that. But usually I like the email because I don't check my messages on Instagram as much as I check my emails. So if you email me at thevastitcher@gmail.com, give me your email address, I will get that $25 gift card out to you. So congratulations. And sorry to everybody who didn't win, but I had 283 comments. So you had 1 in 283 chance of winning, and I'm sorry I can't give one to everybody because I do this channel just for the fun of it, to share it with you guys and get my love of cross stitch out. And if I can give any helpful tips, any inspiration, anything like that to you guys through my videos, that's what my video is for. It's not for me to, I don't know, become popular because, you know, how popular are you on Flosstube? I don't know. Or to make money. I don't make any money off my channel. I don't monetize my channel. Although I was just seeing a new thing, Kia B was talking about it, that there's new monetization stuff going on with YouTube. And if they start making video ads have to be in my videos, whether or not I monetize my channel or not, then I might go ahead and just monetize it. Because if they're already going to be sticking ads in there, then I might as well. But I don't, because I don't want the ads in my videos. I have nothing to do with, right now they can put one at the beginning and at the end of my videos. But as far as I know for right now, they can't put any in my videos because I'm not monetized. I don't make any money off my channel. I don't ask for any money from my channel. I just, you know, want to share with you guys and hope that I bring some joy and the love of cross stitch to you guys. That's it. That's why I do it. And on that note, I think I'm all done. I'm rambling again. And I'm hoping to be back in a couple of weeks, because what I would like to do is do a mid-month check-in and the end first of the month kind of check-in, like the 30th, the 1st, you know, right around there. And again, in the middle of the month. So every couple of weeks, I want to try to get regular again and do an every 2-week video for you guys. Because as you can see, in 2 weeks, I had 8 projects that I touched, and I had things to show you. On a couple of them, I didn't have very much stitched on them. I only touched them for a day, but I still touched them. I still stitched on them. So I wanted to show them to you guys. And I hope you enjoyed my craft room tour, if you saw that, and a little bit on organization. I showed some of my organization in previous, like my fabric organization in previous videos and things like that. Most of the supplies that I bought to organize my fabric and things, I tell you, I got it off of Amazon. The poster boards, the comic book boards, the little plastic alligator clips to clip the fabric onto the boards, my storage boxes, all of that's explained in my tour of my craft room video. I think that's it. So until next time, happy stitching, everybody. Bye.